女人在一起会聊些什么？
你总醒了。
What do women talk about when they are together? Hear these 3 words. Lily doesn't want to live anymore. Why spend your youth by the machine? In the end, I can't even keep my own body. He was willing to buy himself the cream with sleeping pills, then turn on the gas. Let the pain of pills, the sweetness mixed with cream spread on the tip of the tongue. Nice to die like this. But just then, the son who left school early pushed the door open. The courage to die calmly just now. Suddenly gone. He rushed to the kitchen. She shuts off the gas and opens the window. I'm afraid my son will get hurt a little bit. I want to eat cake. Mom, I want to eat cake. Mom, I want to eat cake. You play a tune for Mom. Mom will give you a bite. He had a hard time coaxing her son quickly picked out the medicine on the toilet and clasped your feet out everything you ate. And she was crying so hard. I keep asking him, how are you living for these 30 years? It's like I've never lived a day for myself. Failed the college entrance examination. Become a female worker in a state-run textile factory. The laws are noisy and rusted by the years. Eaten in the workshop, he was fined his wages on the spot by the workshop director. Pungent moment was ignited. What right do you have? Why give us pleasure? No police. Call the police. No police. Can you feel enough? Stay in shit and scolding mercilessly. But when the leader moves out of the regulation, anger is useless for life. He could only bring back sound. Go back there. He hit thousands of times in the assembly line. That's how sharpness is trivialized day after day. And a strong system. Spicy appearance. There is often an unknown grievance, and this grievance usually associated with an unhappy husband. Beautiful husband Lau, who was also a textile factory worker, appeared in the first batch of Ladon. Now I am a fish vendor in the vegetable market. His teacher was a loser. I don't want this fish. Did you just say this fish? I said it's not this. I said this. What if the woman who killed the fish did? I don't care what you do. I know how he did it. The old who opened his mouth finally said nothing. Silently throw the dead fish, save it for the family's dinner of the day. He was in that era the most typical bottom-level male by life. Lost any urge to resist. Get off work every day. Rides a bicycle to pick up Lily. The hustle and bustle along the way seemed to have nothing to do with communication between her downstairs from my son's cram first. Then I'll go back and cook. A passionate conversation without a lover. After being drained by silence more than any quarrel. It better reflects the depletion of the core of marriage. Lee signed up her son for children and piano lessons to become an artist, but from the depths of his heart, a fire that has never been extinguished. Love in his youthful days. It's an accordion player, a man with a literary atmosphere, seemingly illusory, who fights against the dullness of the only spiritual substance will take away even this pitiful glimmer of light. He began to have free knows the dryness common in winter to wipe it off with the back of your hand. Bring up the husband. Our response is just to eat more fish to supplement the inertia of life. Let him and the people around ignore this ominous sign. Until he suddenly fainted while singing the white walls of the hospital and the smell of disinfectant. The director used one here. Extremely calm and cool comparison told Lee. Lee with a mild anemia. It's okay. Just pay attention to rest. You don't have to be nervous. If you do this, you can pee again. Look after the inspector. But as soon as he walks out of the doctor's expression was instantly confessed the truth to Lau, who, according to this, the clinical manifestation of your according to the bone marrow biopsy report, what your lover deserves is a lymphocytic leukemia. In other words, in layman's terms, your lover has a disease called blood cancer's expression, eyes full of sadness. The doctor told him, if you want a cure, you need a bone marrow transplant. 300,000, only a 40 to 50% chance of survival. Conventional treatment that costs 100% hope. Another option is to give up treatment. Lee can live up to half a year. Can you tell me to work? Now, laid off, I live by selling fish for a month. Earn about $1,000 a month. The daughter-in-law earns about 800 yuan a month on the house. That means the economy is not doing very well. Notification of a case as if it were a metaphor for the fate of this 300,000 for the month less salary, 2,000 economical, even 100,000 enough to crush this stormy home. And here's what's even doctor advised Lau to hide his illness and Lily outside the door. I have heard everything very clearly. Her expression didn't collapse. It was a dead calm. She was speechless. way to the
才
hospital
敢
bathroom
在这
to
没
break
人
the
看到的地
embankment
方
where
决
no
堤，
one
但就
sees
连哭
even
泣
cry. 'He
都
was
死死压
suppressing
抑着
his
声音，
voice
生
for
怕
fear
惊
of
动了
alerting
门
the
外那个
seemingly
看似正
the
常的世
normal
界。
world.
回家
After
后，李
returning
丽照
home,
常上班，
Lee
但
was
外国人
the
似
soul
乎对
seems
于
to
日
have
后
been taken
还要
away.
对着
And
轰鸣的
staring
机
at
器发呆。
days
在
at
好
the
多人
door,
看
he
法
might
这个
notice
异样，
something
以为
strange.
是
Thought
母
it
亲
was
闹
a
矛盾，
couple's
李丽
conflict.
只是摇
Lee
头。
just shook her head. It doesn't matter. Can't make trouble. I'm in a bad mood. Why are you sick?
说到病，
Speaking of
热
sick
心的
and
工友是
enthusiastic
从一
work
种
was
更惨
lightened
烈
in
的
a
方
more
式开导。
tragic
他撩
way.
起衣服，展示了
Shows
自
the
己因
site
乳
where
腺
the
癌切
breast
除的部
cancer
位，
was
讲述
He
了自己
recounts how
为
he
治病
spent
花光
his
积蓄，
savings
最
on
终
many
脱离了
ends.
慈善
The
的遭
wife
遇。
and family separated his reason. I don't really blame him. You mean this guy, do sick people have to live? Yeah, you don't even know where I just got dumbfounded. Then I also figured it out. It was an epiphany.
工
The
友的顿
epiphany
悟
of
是
the
活一
workers
天就
is
要
to
开
live
心
a
快
day
乐，
to
绝
be
不要
never
委屈
wrong
自己，
yourself.
所以
So
他要
he's
趁着
going to
有生
have
之年及
fun
时
while
行乐。
he's
还
alive
有无意间发
unintentionally.
现了
Found
一
a
个叫
dance
火
hall
凤凰的
called
歌
the
舞厅，
Fire
那是个
After
能挣
Money
钱
Making
又
a
能忘
new
记烦
world
恼
where
的
you
新
can
世界。
forget your How about I introduce you to a lover?
跟你好
Mediate
点
with you
李
to
丽既没有
Lee
点
neither
头，也没
nodded
有
nor
拒绝，他
reject
的
his
目光
gaze
被
by
旁
a
边一
young
个拉
man
手风
playing
琴
the
的年轻
accordion.
男工吸
A
引。一
track
群年
group of
轻女
young
工
female
正围在
workers
那
are
儿满
gathered
脸爱
there
慕，
with the
工友
dorkers
是
are
感谢的评
relentless
价。
in their
我好像
evaluation.
我烂
I'm
松手风
lazy
琴
and
不
that
能
may
使不能
eat or
狠，
drink.
发
What do
气
you
狠。
like?
李丽沉
Lee
默了，
Lee
因为
was
曾
the
经
who I
自己
used
就
to.
这
That's
样
the
的
kind
年
of
轻姑
young
娘，
girl,
青
the
春的幻
phantom
影
of
与
youth
冰
and
冷
the
的现
cold
实在此刻
reality.
交织。
Intertwined at
自
this
负满
moment.
满
Him the
深知
know
无力承
nothing.
担巨额医药费的李丽，
Who
选择
bears
沉
the
默
silence
逃避。
and
而
and
这个
now,
隐忍的
who
老
has
胡
always
是在
been
一次冒
funny
险
and
时被
unreasonably
顾客
harassed
无
by
理刁难
customers
后，
while
彻
selling
底爆
fish
发了。他
slowly.
举
He
起
held
砍
up
鱼的
the
菜刀，
fish
红
knife.
着
Red
眼要
eyes
拼
to
命。
work hard. Why don't you open that mouth and call your boss? Come on, come on, come on. Go down. I can kill people like this.
这
This
不是
is
对顾
not
客的愤
anger
怒，
act.
而是
It's
对
a
逆刃不公的
desperate
绝望
rant
咆
about
哮。
the
他对李
injustice.
丽
He is
并
not
非冷漠，而
indifferent,
是
but
深
knowing
知
that
自
you
己
are
并
not
非
the
妻子
love
心
of
中
your
所爱
wife.
那份
That
深沉
deep
的爱，因
love,
自卑而
inferiority
变得
complex
无比
makes
笨
one
拙
clumsy
和沉
and
默。
silent.
在巨大
Under
的精
great
神压力
mental
下，
pressure,
李丽第一
Lily
次尝试
attempted
自杀。
suicide.
在儿子
Her
的精
first
神
going
压力下，
home
瞬
early
间击
instantly
溃了他
broke
的勇
his
气。
courage. I
想
want
死
to
他
die,
不
but
能，
I
想活
can't.
又没路。
I
他
want
可
to
能
live
死
and
在
I
没
have
水。
no
这次
will.
碎的自
Attempted
杀成了一个
suicide
转
was
折
a
点。
turning
死过一回的
point.
李丽决
Lee
定在生命
decided
最
to
后的时
spend
光
the
里
last
练习
days of
不
my
让自
life.
己走进了
Workers
火
into
凤
the
凰。
fire.
在工友
Under
介
the
绍下，
introduction of
有
with
一个可以
one,
搂
you
抱
can
跳
cuddle
舞、
and
说些
dance.
音
Someone
乐
who
话题
talks
的
about
人，
the
脸
there
上
was
也
a
露出了
smile
对
on
无
his
数
face
女
that
人的
had
笑
not
容。
belonged. He
在
is
街
no
边
longer
用
funny.
肉
He
赚
turned
钱，
from
吃
Dan
老
White
胡去
Lao
街边
Hu
吃
to the
烧烤。
street
对
for
此，老
bodyguard.
胡选择了亲
Lao
人的
Hu
包容，
chose to be
甚至
was
允许
even
他
allowed
独
to
自远
travel
行。
alone.
帮
Call
我敲
it
门吧。去哪
where
儿？
to
北
go?
京。
隔
Beijing
天，老
next
胡抱着
day.
儿子，
Lao
长
Hu
途的
held
赶往北
himself
京
down
的
for
火车。李
Beijing.
丽这
Lee
次出行的
Lee.
目
The
的，要
purpose
去找那
lies
个
the
埋藏
first
在
love
心底
buried
10
in
年
my
的初
heart
恋
for
赵
10
小
years.
经
Luhan
过一
went
番
through
周
some
折，他在北
setbacks
京5环
located
外一
outside
个
the
操
fifth
场
in the
里面的
noisy
一个
printing
剧，
and
找
dying
到那
factory
个
worker
让
that
他魂
haunted
牵梦
him.
绕的身影。10
Haven't
年不见，
seen you,
当
the
年那个意气风
high-spirited
发的手风
accordion
琴小
guy
伙
back
儿，
then,
以
with
两鬓
white
斑白，
temples,
面色
gone.
憔悴，仅
The
存的
last
一
bit
点
of
书卷气
bookishness
也
left,
被流
also
水线
greasy
的油
by
腻
the
磨
assembly
碎了
line.
几
Not
成无
much
几。
left
四
the
目相
moment
对
when
的
the
瞬
eyes
间，
met.
没有预
There
想
is
中
the
的狂
expected
喜与激
ecstasy
动，
and
只有尴
excitement.
尬的沉
Awkward
默与
silence
无
and the
事人非的沧
vicissitudes of
桑。
life.
在一
In a
家廉
cheap
价的火
hot
锅
pot
店里，这
restaurant,
场
this
期待了10
reunion has
年的
been
重逢，
awaited for
显得
10
格外
years.
压抑和克
Particularly
制。李
depressing.
丽
Lily
回到家
rained
长
on
里
about
短
her，
最后一次
parents.
小心翼翼
I
地
asked
问出
carefully
那
the
个困扰他
question
半
that
生的问
haunted
题：
her for
当年
half
因
life because Zhao Luhan considered useless by his family. Two were forcibly separated. Zhao Luhan went to Beijing. Li wrote more than 100 letters before, and Zhao Luhan's like a cruel joke played by fate. He has never written this letter. He might. I thank you for the rest of my life. You really didn't say a single word. I've been waiting for 2 years. I also suddenly inquired, say you're married. You think you listened to your parents' reluctance? Zhao Luhan also waited for Li. I heard that Li is married. Got disheartened and married a misunderstanding. That's an understatement. Rewrote the lives of two people. Li couldn't believe Zhao Luhan smiled bitterly. Believe it or not, you've been complaining about this for 10 years. Creation tricks missed is missed after all. And where did those letters go? It doesn't seem to matter anymore at the moment. The two went to Badehi with the tour group. That's what Zhao Luhan once described to him. A world unlike anything else. Depths of which the sea is covered with thin ice. Li looked at the boundless sea. A complicated smile appeared on his face. It's better than one person abandoning another. He tried to comfort himself with these words. But how can a lifetime of unwillingness beat. A Korean couple asked him to take a photo and enthusiastically take a photo. Promised to send them the photo. This photo became the focus. It is also the only false evidence. This one doesn't hold hands. Photos that don't even meet the eye, as if their lives were missed and never met again. Returning from Beijing, Lee suddenly remembered on the train that there are only two kinds of human physiology. Don't even think about it. Halfway and lay on the icy track. Wish is grand. It's better to say goodbye. However, when the train comes roaring with wind and thunder, when the earth shakes violently, fear of death instantly overwhelmed him. He was like a frightened worm, shrunk into a ball, rolling and crawling away from the rails, then hugged your head and cried. Found that even if life was so unbearable, afraid of death, staff come. He fled in a hurry with his luggage, running and running, but suddenly laughing. The self who is not afraid of death. At this moment, there is such a strong desire. Life is ridiculous and real. Back home, the textile factory finally officially closed down in the snow. Depressed at home, Lau, who comforts just in time to no longer tolerate this state of waiting, confessed to her husband that she had already known about her and made a final request. If you're really nice to me, you let him out like everyone else with a problem. Day by day, having fun outside. This sentence is for a man. It's a violation of dignity. Who, laid off after a long silence, I chose to understand. Eventually joined that the team that rides the bicycle to send the wife to work, squatting outside the Fire Phoenix. And the tragedy continues. Lee, ultimately due to her ballroom, fainted. The disease took a turn. The doctor told Lau that the tumor treatment is a little significant money, but Lau, who made the most decisive reaction, the house, insisting on healing his when my son was crying in the hospital. When Dad sold the house, Lily was really shocked. She gazed affectionately for the first time. Taking the initiative to reach out and touch for the first time the deepest love. I had been guarding her in the most silent way. New Year's Eve fireworks outside the window, and it was silent. Lily walked to the window. No more irritability and fear on the kind of calm after being in harmony. Maybe the life of an ordinary person is like. It doesn't matter whether it's absolute in the trivialities of day after day. Mixed with depression, pain is also mixed with a little touch of concern. Birth, old age, except to it, there is no other way this day. Handed over, and inside is a photo of him and his first love, and by Lily had mixed feelings. And the other side, Luhan also received the photo to the dusty accordion. Pulled up Lily's favorite snowball. The piano went, but he doesn't know the woman he once loved. Life is coming to an end. On the way to the operating, Lily instinctively held her husband's hand. This is his first and last time. Take the initiative to hold this pair of calluses tightly. It is also the hand that holds up the sky. Has too many regrets in her life. Love without end, marriage, sudden illness, and that mighty, the laid-off banknotes that swept him away. Life seems to be learning how to make peace with it all. But fortunately, in the final moments of life, finally mustered up the courage. Really, even if only once, live for yourself. Like running by the rails that day, someone was chasing him and telling him not to grow. Maybe it was deep in his heart. The last of this world, the most intense nostalgia. The English name of the textile girl is straightforward but full of metaphors, and thousands upon thousands of women of his generation. On the loom of the times, textile girl moving from a planned economy to a during the transition, the most specific and overlooked cause. The movie is not deliberately emotionally, but it is this calm that is even more. No matter what era you watch this movie in, because of what he said, not just a woman's tragedy. It is a microcosm of an era. Choice between dignity and the truth about love and marriage, about being human in a death struggling to find a little light. Billy didn't work a miracle, but he achieved harmony with himself. His story tells us life sometimes doesn't need great meaning. Taste the sweetness of a cake in despair away from the railroad tracks for fear for yourself once in your last moment itself is the bravest resistance of ordinary life. The movie ends the familiar roar of the textile. It sounded faintly. We know the giant loom is still running. It's just that the thread above changes one stubble after another. The lilies are like the cloth. Some became brocade, became no matter what. They all made a real effort on the long scroll of have left their own deep or shallow line.